Altior got back on track at Newbury recently. How pleasing, satisfying was that for you?
Well, he had to do what he did, but we probably were fairly confident that he was back to himself. He's very good at telling you where he is. Nico's very good at telling me where he is too, because I can just put him on him and do a little bit of work, and he can take with 75%, 85%, 95% there. We knew going into that we were ready for a run. I mean, there was room for improvement. There was, that race at Ascot had absolutely bottomed him. And to be fair, at the end of the day, I think you have to conclude Sandem, it took a lot out of him beating Altior. It was a shame. I think both Paul and I would wish we hadn't done it. I certainly do. I should have taken him out on the morning of the race. The world would have killed me because the race had been so hyped up. But running Altior over 2 mile 5 for the first time in heavy ground, first time out, was crazy. But he's bounced back. Newbury was good, and we're back in the ball game.
You know what it takes to win a champion chase because he's done it twice before. But this looks a hot race. Perhaps that's the toughest one he's been in.
I think even if you go back to all the years, all sprinters' years, and Altior's too as well, that this is as competitive as it's ever been, and he's going to have to be at his very best. Certainly at his best, he is good enough. But they're going to throw some pretty talented opposition at us, definitely to say. I've been very impressed with all year. He handles soft ground very well. I think ground is going to be a big player in this game. He can go in soft ground. He's won plenty of races in soft ground, but it's just that he's a better horse on good ground. And, Deffy's strength is probably, and the Irish horse as well. Chaka, probably likes what we don't like.
And that's the 2 mile division covered. 3 miles, you've also got a contender in Santini for the Gold Cup. He looks to tick plenty of boxes. Is that the way you see it?
Well, I think we come in with a good shout. It's open. Album photos wearing the crown. There were a lot of people trying to grab it off him, though, and hopefully we're one of them that can justifiably have a crack at it. Obviously, the Cotswold Chase went according to plan. He was good. He jumped very well. It was soft ground, and I think, we took on a Bristol Demai at his. Darrell said he was at his best, and when he's at his best, he's a very tough horse, and it was a good race. I think we had plenty of improvement. Rather like Altior at Newbury, there was a lot. They were prep races, so that wasn't the finished article. I hope the finished article appears in March. That's our job. And I think he's as good a chance as we've had since those sort of long run Bobsworth days. And he's tough and he's hard. He's run very good races. He was very good in the RSA last year. So he's about the finished article at last. He was a big baby for a long time.
And champion hurdle, you've got 5 runners. Epatante is the top of the list according to the betting. Again, is that how you see it?
Well, the race is very open, and I've been not running 5 because because it's open, and none of them I can show you are pacemakers either. But it's just that they all deserve to. They're their own rights. Funny enough, Fuzzy Raffles, though, I love him. And he was very disappointing in the Christmas hurdle. Epatante was very impressive in the Christmas hurdle. Some people say that, I thought this time last year, I thought she was one of our best chances in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. And she was horrible. But that wasn't Cheltenham's fault or anything. I think a combination of things. But she comes in fresh and well, and whether she's justifiably the favourite, I don't know, but she's a good filly. She's looked very good this year all the way through, and her work's been excellent.
And I get the feeling Penton Hill's the sort of horse you sort of got half an eye on, that thinking he could run a big race.
Well, I'm sure he'll run a big race, and I think as you've seen both times this year in the International and in the Haydock trial, that he's travelled in both races like the best horse in the race by miles. He's jumping so slick. he's going to get there. I just hope he needs just to relax a little bit more. Haydock, the trouble is he jumps so well, he puts himself in the race rather sooner than Nick or I would like. And if he just wants to relax a little bit more and keep his powder dry for a little bit longer, then I think he was very good in the Triumph. And he'd only had one run then, so, I'm not worried about that sort of lack of... Okay, he's been second twice, but he's still run 2 very good races.
And Call Me Lord, who you think was a bit flat at Sandown last time, but he pleased you going left-handed at Cheltenham in the international.
He did. It didn't matter. I think he might have given up this game of only going right-handed or hanging right. If you hang right round Cheltenham, you're in no man's land very quickly.
But he shouldn't be discounted.
No, because if it's soft, he'll cope with that. I think he can bounce back from Sandown. I think that was a bit of a messy race.
This son needs to beat down on Cheltenham for Verdana Blue to line up.
It does. As everybody knows, she has to have really good ground, and when it is, she's wicked good. She's great, and she'll always try for you. She'd try her socks off, but there's no point in doing that if it's, as you know, the winter has been unreasonably wet. And we haven't seen... the only bit of decent ground we've seen since Christmas was at Newbury the other day. Otherwise, we've been underwater. We still are. So we really need 3 dry weeks. 3 weeks of this.
Yeah. If we were to wind the clock back 40 years when you were as a talented amateur rider, who would you be riding out of that 5?
Certainly. I don't know. I mean, one's got speed, one's got... Epatante, she's a very classy filly. I think she's probably We'll have a sort of game in the yard on the Tuesday morning, and everybody can have a shot at getting them. We do this when we've got these sort of numbers. You've got to get them in the right order, sort of thing, and we'll have prize giving. But I bet you nobody gets the finishing order right.
No. Champ looks as a bright hope for the RSA, but fell last time. That doesn't seem to be sort of denting your confidence in him.
It's his confidence. I'm trying to, shore up, and I'm not too worried about that. I think he's fine. It wasn't obviously. Had he jumped that fence in the last, and he'd have won comfortably, which it looked like. We wouldn't have run again, and we'd all be very happy. I'm still very happy. His work's been good. Sawa says he's in great form, and he's going to go and jump some fences. He's got a little bit more schooling to do, but so far his schooling's been absolutely excellent at home.
The ground might dictate things for Mr. Fisher, who is a very smart horse.
I hope so. He's a lovely-looking horse, and he's definitely very talented. He's certainly not slow. He can win over 2. He's won over 2.5. Ground, and I think then we can afford to just sort of sum up the opposition in both races and then see which is possibly the weaker division. I can't see anything that jumps off the plate that I can think of that's an obvious, in England anyway, an obvious Arkle sort of. There's no banker. There's nothing that's going to be odds on or anything like that. So we might look at both races before we decide which way we go, but the ground might dictate it as well. Good ground is quite important to him. So, Nico even said, go to Donk Street, knowing that he couldn't ride him there, but he said the horse does want good ground.
You sound very sweet on Shishkin, who could get you off to a flyer in the Supreme.
Well, that would be handy. That's the best race of the week to win. But from our point of view, it is. If you could just get that one run on the board, and everybody suddenly got confidence, and you're off. And he's a good horse to open the batting, because I think he is very talented. He's looked very good both times. He's got speed. He's a natural 2-miler. No, I think he's a good person to open the batting anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say good number two might be Chantry House if he joins him as well.
Well, we'll see. I mean, again, he's only run over 2 miles and he's won both times. He would give us the impression, and I think the way what I see of him, in comparison to Shishkin, to be fair, that he would be the 2.5 miler and Shishkin the 2, but we'll see which way they go.